How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Petty, and I appreciate you stopping by today. And yeah, we had an interesting day yesterday. Streamed for about 3 hours on YouTube. Had a really good time. Really appreciate everybody that stopped by and hung out for that. I don't know if we're gonna do that again in the next day or two, or we might try and do something over on Twitch. So definitely keep an eye out for that stuff. If you just want to come hang out and talk to Patty. But we're here to talk about something interesting. So there's a game, Grandblue Fantasy, and I want to say it's Relink, that was announced 3, 4 years ago. And we just, at the end of December, there was a, kind of like convention or event for it, and the developers went through and streamed for like 6 hours, did a lot of Q&A stuff, and they also showed about 20 minutes of footage from the game. So that's what we want to take a look at today and see how it looks, how we feel about it, and just talk a little bit. Before we get anybody's hopes too high, couple of things I want to touch on. One, that the release date for this is pegged at the moment for 2022. So we're still not seeing this for a while. And in fact, during the event, one of the developers and everything kind of said, like, yeah, when it came to announcing the game, I wish we had waited till this upcoming summer to kind of announce it. And then it would have given them the room to coast into 2022 and have people happy, excited, with good expectations. When they heard about the game 3, 4 years ago, and it's still another year or so from our release, yeah, you might have people lose interest a little bit. So I definitely see the point where they're coming from there. But I've went through and kind of clicked through some of this stuff, and I'm excited. This looks really nice. But it is not a mobile game. It looks like, at least for right now, that it is only going to be coming to consoles. And I have only seen PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 confirmed, although they recently started working on making it for PlayStation 5. So I don't know if that, factors into their release date and everything. Potentially that's why we see them pushing back releasing the game until 2022 so that they can try and do their level best to not pull a Cyberpunk and make sure that their stuff is actually ready for the consoles that it's putting it out on. But at no time has there been any mention that this is going to be playable on mobile, that there's going to be a PC client. So in the next 2 years, I guess we're in 2021 now. If we all survive this year, I'm going to have to get a console to kind of play this because it looks really, really, really interesting. Kind of like my first impression takeaway would be like a mix between like Final Fantasy like 14 and Genshin Impact. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at this. So we're actually using the video from the actual live stream and everything like that. Some people have clipped out this 20 minutes and posted it to YouTube themselves and everything. But I wanted to give the original developer video a view, so that's what we gonna do. That's what we gonna do. But yeah, let's take a look. So this is one of our, basic characters. I think there's two main characters. I want to say one of their names is Blue. But okay, we get a quick feel for the world. I like the aesthetics and everything. Looks pretty lived in and real. It doesn't look like it's just a cardboard background or anything like that. There's nice depth that you can see to everything. So I like the art style a lot already. It is has a 4-player co-op, but I definitely do not want to say that this is going to be a Genshin clone in any way. A, because it's a console game and I have heard no mentions of any gacha mechanics. So I believe that this is going to be just a full game, standalone game. So if you're one of the people that got driven away from Genshin because of the gacha side, this game looks like it's not going to have that issue. And there's, if we go forward a little bit, we should be able to find a little bit of. You gonna attack it all? You just gonna stand there? This is the other primary character and everything. We can see the button layout down here is for console. Looks interesting. Looks interesting. Let's look at their buddies. So, like, this is a, mock party and everything like that. I like it. I like all of their character designs. Definitely the way that the characters kind of look and is one of the things that reminds me of Final Fantasy XIV, if you're wondering where that tie-in is. But the further that we get into, this kind of gameplay sneak peek, let's take a look at the boat. It's a good time to bring in the boat scenes. So all these encounters that they kind of give us a preview on, they very much make me feel like I'm, in a raid in Final Fantasy XIV. I did Savage raiding for like 6 months, and I'm getting flashbacks to being reminded that I'm a filthy NA casual. But this, I like the way that there is a focus on these engagements, like feeling a little bit more than like you're just going somewhere and fighting something in the world. Like it feels like it has some weight. It feels like you're really in a story. You know what I mean? Genshin has awesome monsters to go around and fight. But the story itself doesn't really capture me too much, and there's a lot of vague details, and we're getting slow drips of content over time. So story-wise, Genshin is very much not a story-driven game, in my opinion. Some of you guys might be super into the story and everything, and it's got a really unique and interesting world, but this already looks like it's going to feel like a more real world that you're running around in. And again, the fact that, you're going from ship to ship, you've got a lot of things that you're having to kind of dodge. Definitely looks like you're getting some team-up action happening over there, and that looks fun. I like it. But yeah, just everything that I'm seeing from the combat to this and the way that, I don't know if this is like a story mission, or dungeon or something like that. But Final Fantasy XIV had the same really fantastical story that was, it was always something super crazy that was happening. But this honestly looks like it's going to have a more engaging combat for me than Final Fantasy XIV was. So we're going to have the Final Fantasy XIV style kind of world and engagements and progression through a real feeling dungeon or story level. And yeah, it just, I don't know. I really like the way that this looks. This looks like I really am excited that action RPGs are kind of getting this deep. I love me some Diablo and stuff like that, but we're starting to get some more flushed out, deeper worlds in games, and I'm here for it. They do show some interesting stuff with the classes, or not really classes, between the team play where you can have some chaining effects and everything, where people pop a bunch of stuff at once or kind of comboing. I don't know. It's all in Japanese, Korean, Chinese, one of those. But it just looks super interesting. And I do like the way that they're setting this up and the fact that it looks like it's going to feel a lot more I don't know, just the Final Fantasy XIV storyline. This is what it's making me think the hardest about, where it's lots of actual gameplay, but in really bombastic settings and things that are happening. It seems like it's going to be a very dramatic game, and my name's Patty. We like to be a little dramatic here. So I like that. Everything that I'm seeing for this is getting me pretty hyped for it. I'm a little sad that it's only going to be coming to consoles. I do wish that it was getting a wider release. And I think they, at least a PC port, dog. How can you build it for consoles and not be able to build it for PCs? I guess it's difficult because you have locked in settings with consoles, and it might be difficult to make this game very playable at different levels of PC strength. Maybe that's one of the reasons they looked at that and said, no, I ain't doing it. But yeah, it's, and And granted, we could be looking at one of, the best levels or, dungeons or missions in the game. But if the whole game has this kind of, progression action with their storytelling, that's going to be really fun. I think that's something that Genshin lacks just a little bit. Just a little bit. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let's click through and see if there's any of the other crazy stuff. Because I want to try and find the combo thing where they're all doing crazy stuff together. Alright, that definitely looks like a kind of boss character. Ooh. Ooh. I was about to say, so his only tell is you see him picking up his sword, and that's when you need to start dodging? They're not giving you a lot of reaction time on that guy. Okay, okay. Is this another game that's going to make me feel like a filthy NA casual? It might be. It might be. Yo, did you just pick up his sword? Yo. Or spear? Whatever. Whatever. That's nuts. That's nuts. Okay, so the mechanics in these fights is already, again, feeling very reminiscent of Final Fantasy XIV, where it's deeper than just, hey, hit guy, or hey, just don't stand and stuff. Like, they actually have some interesting stuff baked in. I wish more action RPG games or MMO games took the, like, Final Fantasy XIV approach to their fights, because they make them really engaging, and you have to go through a decent amount of time before you really start hitting burnout on it, because it's a very involved process. You can't autopilot in that game and play effectively. There's a lot of things you have to be paying attention to. Your own rotations are pretty deep in and of themselves. Ooh, there's the full chain thing I was talking about. Look at everybody popping their ultimates out. Whew! Some chunky boy damage. But I like that that's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm thinking about when I'm watching that we're getting that feel for that type of gameplay and game design. Which, again, I'm here for. Make my caveman brain sweat. We love that stuff. That is one of our favorite things, hands down, no questions asked. So yeah, I mean, I'm just a little excited to play this one. I feel like I can be genuinely excited about this. He does not like it when you pick that up. Every time you do it, he seems to charge you. Maybe you're trying to break him out of doing something, and that's why that's happening. Maybe there's a different type of attack he's charging up, and you have to pick up his weapon for him to be like, hey, that's mine. And then that'll pull him out of what he was doing. I don't know. But usually there's some deeper stuff to, those kind of mechanics. And we're seeing it. We're seeing the evidence. I like it. I like it a lot. I wish we were getting this before 2022. But, that's fine. That's fine. And I like that... I think if you look at this and try and say, like, oh, it just looks like a Genshin clone. No. No. Especially if the mechanics and the levels and everything are that detailed and involved. That puts it in a whole other league from Genshin. Genshin wanted to put a lot of their effort, I believe, into their world. And not really their, I don't even know how you properly refer to, like, mechanics during, like, missions and stuff. You see, like, a little bit of innovative stuff, like when you first run into Davalin and you're flying through the air and you got your cursor and your clicky shooting and everything. That's cool and interesting. It literally, like, never comes up again. But that's a very small thing in Genshin. It looks like that is a much bigger focus in this, and I think that will lead to me being more invested in gameplay for longer than I have been with Genshin. So, I like it. I like it. If they make this real sweaty and hard, I'm gonna like that too. But we're gonna die a lot. We can be honest about that. I know I'm a filthy NA casual. But yeah, just wanted to go through and look at some of this. There's, again, a whole 7-hour stream that you can kind of look through. Wow, okay. Yeah, look at that MMO level mechanics in this fight. How you doing? Oh, okay, so they finally got it off. So they're supposed to pick it up and throw it at the dude. Okay, okay, okay. I like it. I like it. But all right, guys. I think that pretty much covers it. If we get any more information, we'll circle back around to this. I think our next couple of videos are going to be taking a look at things that are up and coming and some new games for this year. And then, you know, we'll circle back around to Genshin like we always do. So thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate them faces. You have to catch your boy on the next one because I'm out of here. Deuces.